Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Kona. It's me, Comment Cryptid, back at it again. I hope everybody's having a good day. Let's see. If I'm correct, this episode is going to be going out on Thanksgiving Day, so I hope anyone who celebrates American Thanksgiving is having a good day, and if you don't, that's cool too. I understand, some people, some cultures might have misgivings about that holiday, and that's totally fair. Us white people did some bad things. Anyways, that doesn't matter. I hope everyone's at least enjoying a long weekend if you have it. Which, again, not everybody does. But, anyways. So, where we last left off, we went to Gilles' house. We found his wife frozen in a block of ice with some more of the weird blue ice. And we know they were having marital problems. And so then we came down the road to Roy's house, and we haven't really looked around in here yet, but yeah, there's nothing much else to do but maybe start looking through things. Alright, so they had a thing in the oven, it looks like. The oven also apparently sounds like a regular door, which is kind of weird.
Simone de Beauvoir, Claude Lévi-Strauss, Hannah Arendt, Roland Barthes. Carl was surprised by the literature filling this liberal-leaning bookcase. Could there really be intellectuals dwelling in this far-off land?
Carl has a low opinion of rural people, apparently. The only city folk can enjoy literature, I guess. Matches. Matches are good. I love matches. Nothing much in there. Oh, I don't have a water bottle. Nothing in there. Nothing in there. Cookie jars are always too high to reach. Of course they are. Keep them that much harder to go through. There's some sausage and eggs. Eggs and sausage and ketchup. Sounds Canadian to me. Caribbean snow, cane sugar. Oh.
Just one more move and White is checkmated. Game over. It seems the game was abandoned right before the final strike came down.
That is what it seems like. Okay. And, oh. Clearly there's a letter here. What does the letter say? Sorry, pardon me. I did some cleaning around the house and kicked up some dust the other day, and I'm paying for it. But anyways, the fantasy, page 1. Matthew had yet to add murderer to his curriculum. He was fond of new experiences, especially the most thrilling ones, and taking the life of a flesh and bone individual who the night before was still able to think, dream, fantasize, calculate, read, held the promise of exhilarating sensations. Unlike Raskolnikov, it wasn't about axing an old Jewish hag to pieces to test some lunatic theory. Not at all. Matthew just wanted to know how it felt. It seemed so simple. Horribly simple. He didn't have any particular victim in mind. Like most people, his desires ran quite wildly. So he only had a vague idea of them in mind. He pondered using a rifle or a knife, assassinating a young girl or an old man. He tried to focus on practicability. His victims would have to be defenseless. Bodybuilding wasn't exactly Matthew's strong suit. He would have to act spontaneously, but not too much. He wasn't that eager to learn what spending the rest of his life in prison would be like. Some experiences carry just too high a cost to be worth it, really. Well, interesting. Very, very interesting. You know, we're doing pretty good. We'll have a smoke. You really do smoke with his chest. He has. And okay. Fire starter. Fire starter is great.
The photograph was snapped not too far from here, Carl noticed. The couple seemed to be very good friends.
Indeed.
The couple radiated something akin to lightheartedness, to freedom. Perhaps some people out there truly found a way to live happily ever after.
Perhaps they did.
A picture of Wilfred in his youth. Carl figured right away that the man must have been some kind of wildlife officer.
Yeah, he's some sort of ranger. Let's see. Toilet paper on the toilet. Anything? Nope. Towels. Empty. Open. Meds. Not much else. Alright. There's really nothing else in here. There's a mirror behind there, but the game won't let me look into it. Anything interesting in here? Just some paint. Oh. What is that thing? That's weird. Alright. Oh, it's in this closet. I see. Ooh, some 303. Maybe there's a gun around here.
Not a single weapon was left. All of them were gone.
Well, that's rude. Couldn't leave me with one gun. Okay. So this is page 3. And I'm gonna guess this is page 4. Alright. Nope, nothing on TV. Page 2 has to be in here. Aha! Okay. It was around that time that Matthew met Beatrice. Of mediocre beauty at best, the girl with her distinctive features. Cheeks covered with large pox-like freckles, Jew nose, oily forehead, tired but vibrant eyes, shaded red hair, slender as a child's body, chirpy laugh, you name it. It was the very image of innocence. That happened to be precisely the kind of victim Matthew was picturing in his mind, though. One night, as he was contemplating the ceiling from his bed, he swore to himself again and again, "I'll kill her!" His dreams were later filled with images of the imminent crime. He had come up with a simple enough plan. One fine evening, he would visit her place to become familiar with the area's intricacies and feel closer to the impending murder, to slowly dig into Beatrice's thoughts, desires, dreams, and abilities. This way, he would be able to get a concrete sense of what his sinister deed would be stripping away from the very fabric of life. The whole thing would take 2 days, a week at most. Yeah, I'm really getting the feeling that this Matthew guy is not cool. You know? He's like, he's like, okay, I'm gonna commit murder just for the sake of, I want to know what it feels like. And then just, I mean, he's French, so I guess I shouldn't be that surprised by a little anti-Semitism, especially, I'm sure, he's French, but like 50 years ago, so like, whatever, but still, I just, but we have to, we need context. We need to understand who this Roy guy is.
All manners of clothing were gone, as if the Rois drove out of town with their closet in tow.
It does seem like what it was. Did that. Kona. Oh, Kona. You win if you pass go. Yeah. It's Monopoly, but they can't do Monopoly. I see. Interesting. Alright. Cabins. More cabins in the woods. So, let's see. Nope. Documents, Giselle's, articles, novel. Yeah. Fantasy, page 3. The first time he met Beatrice, however, she unexpectedly revealed her troubled origins to Matthew. She was adopted at the age of 4, and recalling her former life still gave her a hard time. She played the piano in so graceful a manner that people often thought she may be the natural offspring of a musical virtuoso. She always cried before falling asleep, torn from the inside by a dreadful pain she couldn't explain. She confided to him so profoundly that Mathieu couldn't get enough, coming back every night to learn every single thing of what would come out of that delicate mouth, after pulling one last breath out of it. Every night, he reflected on what the death of Beatrice would mean in terms of losses to humanity's common heritage, be it the sound of her sobbing, or her piano melodies, the compulsive tapping of her long index finger on her temple when she harbored dark thoughts, or any other little thing. It didn't matter. Everything would indiscriminately vanish. Everything. All these thoughts made for some blissful slumber indeed. Then days became weeks, and before he knew it, it was Matthew's turn to turn his secrets at her, to throw his secrets at her. My bad. His hopes, his cries of despair, as if throwing coins in a wishing well. She'll be dead by the end of the month, he promised himself. Okay. We'll see how that comes out. 'Cause...
A murderer's diary. Carl's detective training compelled him to write some excerpts down. What sort of monster could give life to such a bizarre tale?
The two lovebirds were still going at it 7 months later, though, confiding fears and desires alike near the fireplace several days a week. The populace took notice, and wounding words eventually found their way to Mathieu's ear, prompting him to take action to prove his gentlemanship. He had to ask Beatrice's hand in marriage. He would not have more than enough time to kill. He would have more than enough time to kill her later. Today, when Mathieu stares at the motionless ceiling, just like he did 20 years ago, he still wonders what he would be removing from existence by slitting Beatrice's throat. What he would be depriving his children of, then, as if soothed by his fantasy, he gently drifts off, smiling the night away. Okay. I tell you, writers are weird people. Sometimes. They, So I guess we're supposed to... Is Matthew must be a self-insert character for Roy. For Roy. Willard Roy. Well, let's see. Alright, we're gonna consult the journal, see what it says. Hamilton's murder. Case of vandalism. Apologies. So yeah. So Hamilton, son of a Chicago banker, established a copper mine. Can't make a fortune without being a bastard. Is accused by the Cree people of attacking, or is accusing the Cree people of attacking his estate, especially his luxurious hunting lodge. Alright. Yeah, the Cree don't like him, which is fair. Vandalism. Excuse me, this vandalism case is destined for me. He's the Iowa professional. Was meeting him, but then he's dead. Alright. So, the crash. Who was the driver? Lockbox. We believe it's Dr. Beaupre. Posit that the doctor is melancholic and that melancholic the reckless driver. The box I found state affair no less. Hamilton wanted to expose some shady activity by enemies of democracy. Still need to figure out why the hell this message ended up in the doctor's hands. The reckless driver was definitely a fugitive running from the scene of their crime, still covered in Hamilton's blood. What a mess. Okay, so cold mystery. Snow is weird. Lots of weird ice. Don't know why there would be that. Giselle is frozen. For what it's worth, Pigeon told me things weren't going well between the Lachances. Women's diary speaks volumes about that and reveals the secrets of hers. It's safe, many screams and secrets between them. Danger drives people away from their hamlet. The Roys are no exception. Like the snow behind suggests. Everybody's running, but not all of them find a way out. Cars abandoned before the road caved in. What happened to the passengers? No doubt this belonged to Roy. His guide to gamekeeping makes that very clear, yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if an expert like him had shortcut through the forest to find shelter. Who are the four people? Figure out his exact role. Doctors. File seems incomplete. Who's the Cree woman? Further north. Need to find a warm coat somewhere. How to get rid of the ice wall. Yeah. Alright. Flaming arrows. Alright. So, let's see. We have been, so far we have been to the Lachances, and to the Roys, and to the doctors. So, I guess we're gonna go back up to Bedard and see what's up there. Is there the closest? The next closest house. Note from Jean Leroy. Fled, it was getting too dangerous. More people. Right. So. Makes sense. Anything interesting in the garbage? There's a bottle. It won't let me take the bottle. Alright. get in the very noisy car that we just leave running all the time because gas is infinite, apparently. Alright. Play some tunes, I guess. Okay. Alright, and we're back on the road. Alright. Oh. And we're loading. And we're loading. There we go. Alright, Bedard's house. And we're gonna get out. Alright. For some reason, I just want to check the garage first. Let's see. Give me a bottle. Thank you. And anything else I can pick up or look at or find interesting at all? I will turn it on. Got some hardware. Empty. Empties.
A true Catholic always strives to keep lowly temptations at bay.
Indeed.
Obviously, Carl thought, someone in this house wasn't doing a good job at upholding the Holy Bible's teachings.
Well, you know.
A peculiar key indeed, too small to fit in a door lock.
Interesting.
What sort of miniature object was it meant for?
Well, we're about to find out. Some cigarettes and a beer bottle. Looks like someone had to hide their habits, alright. You know. It happens. But you know, he is just Catholic. He can go confess his sins on whatever day he has a chance. And it's fine, right? That's how that works. Well, interesting. Ooh, we should take the bicycle next time. Okay, so we need...
What was even the point of locking your door if everyone hid their key in the same place?
I mean,
Carl was starting to feel like his investigator life lacked challenge.
Indeed. You know.
The house smelled like incense, the kind that reminds you of the good Lord, of peace.
Alright, get the fire going. Nope. Nothing on TV. Enough food for rough times. There is quite a bit of food.
Religion was very influential throughout Quebec many years ago. Indeed, it was surprising that Carl did not come across a single chapel since arriving here.
That is surprising. But, so we've got one good Catholic here. Oh, no loose change. That's sad. We'll save those steaks for later, probably. We could go... Alright, I don't feel like trying to read that. Still nothing. More Polaroid. Apparently I need a wire. There we go. water bottle now, so that's cool. No. Let's see. Ooh. How did they draw the sun? That is a good question. One I don't have an answer for.
Good Paul VI, appearing papal. His crooked fingers gave the impression he was about to bestow a miracle.
And indeed it did. We love the Pope. Is there a light switch anywhere in here? Like at all? Oh, right there. That's better.
The perfect cookie-cutter Catholic family, most likely attending church every Sunday.
Most likely. Although, Catholics can be pretty dysfunctional, I gotta say, sometimes. I mean, Protestants can be
The
too.
family's mother must have spent her days washing the filth off her kids' diapers.
Well, that's a nice thought.
The empty cradle sent an eerie feeling down Carl's spine, as if minutes ago someone just grabbed the baby and made a run for it.
Well, I mean, that does seem to be kind of the case. Everyone kind of left in a hurry. So we've got a bathtub and scissors and Q-tips. Towels. A toilet.
Who knew that giraffes thrived in the North Pole? The craze for toys was stupefying.
Indeed.
Love of religion and ancestors was rooted deep inside the hearts of Canadians of old, to which the Bedards appeared to be closely related.
Indeed, they probably were quite closely related. Is there a light in here? Oh. Oh, those are diapers. I didn't. I didn't quite realize the first time around. Alright. Alright, come on. We need a lantern. There we go. There only seems to be electricity in like half the house. Sylvie's diary.
The Bedards had vacated the premises. Carl gathered they would be of no help.
So let's see. Sylvie's diary. August 14th of 1970. Jean-Luc never had a knack for mathematics. Try as he might, he'll never realize that he simply cannot be the father of the child I'm bearing. But how can I be sure? I have to keep this a secret, at least until the time is right, when it'll be safe. August 16th. Dr. Beaupre told me it would start showing soon and that I couldn't keep it hidden forever. Gotta muster courage, he said, with his usual condescending tone. Courage to face what's coming. But he doesn't get it all. For him, I just had some childish affair. He doesn't realize I brought eternal damnation upon myself. September 14th. Mary is very sickly and Jean-Luc plunges into despair. I told him nothing about the evil growing inside me. Sometimes I get the feeling he can see right through me, my Mary's suffering, and I am the one to blame. Oh Lord Almighty, why do children have to pay for their parents' sins? Well, really they shouldn't have to. But also, again, I mean, is it really eternal damnation? Can you not? I don't know. I'm not Catholic. I know people who were Catholic, but, it's just, I don't know. It's weird. Alright, so page 2. Mary has recovered, but there's something really gloomy about her now. She always seems so sad. Maybe she caught a glimpse of what dying is like. What if she's an unhappy child now because of me? Jean-Luc truly honored me 2 nights ago. If the baby makes it, maybe Dr. Beaupre could convince him it was born prematurely. It's my only way out. October 11th, we're heading to Lac Saint-Jean tomorrow to visit Jean-Luc's mother. I need to. The situation is untenable now, and we fear the worst. Okay, so Sylvie had an affair, but her husband's kind of dumb and didn't realize that her pregnancy could only have been the result of an affair. And we've got
Dreamcatchers originated from First Nations legends. They were used to trap nightmares.
Supposedly. I remember, don't quote me on this. If someone wants to look into it more, please do look into it more. But I remember, I heard somewhere that Dreamcatcher, they are a Native American thing, a First Nations thing, Indigenous Americans thing. But they didn't really become a huge thing, or they might have been endemic to a certain set of tribes at one point, but then they spread everywhere after white people came and started causing a lot of nightmares that needed to be trapped, or something along those lines. Again, could just be, talking complete nonsense, but, I feel like that was a thing I heard somewhere. I like the lantern. We're gonna switch to the flashlight. I feel like the flashlight might be better. Histoire. Oh. This is the only other room in the house that has electricity. Mary's diary.
Shame that the family had bailed. Carl would have had a few questions for Jean-Luc, a close friend of Hamilton's.
Indeed. See, Mary's diary, page 1. August 16th. I have a diary, just like Mommy. Unlike her, though, I don't wear a long face when writing. But I do love to write my thoughts. And about Martin, most of all. I love talking about him. I think he loves me, too, just like in Romeo and Juliet. People don't like it when I see him, only because he's a blais. But it feels like in the story, nothing can stand in the way of true love. I mean, but Romeo and Juliet died at the end. People always forget that Romeo and Juliet died at the end of that play. Anyways, August 18th. I lost my appetite. Can't sleep anymore. Every waking hour, intense shivers run through my body. Dad's making me see Dr. Beaupre, with his huge hands touching me everywhere, his foul breath exhaling all over my face. Yuck. I'm not sick. I'm in love. I love Martin so much. There's nothing I like better than thinking about us playing together, like we always do. I wonder if he found the key I lost the other day. He was pretty sad when I did, because it's for his dad's garden shed, and Martin has always been afraid of him. I think Martin's dad is a bit like Dad's god. I think the key fell in a burrow next to the shed. Poor Martin cried like a baby, but I still love him. Mom often cries when she feels lonely. I think there's no reason for her to cry. Mom can be so stupid sometimes. Dad works a lot because of that wealthy Englishman buying everything. That's what notaries do. They make sure that people get what they're paying for. Basically, it's complicated, but that's how Dad explained it to me. The rich guy doesn't look half as bad as Martin told me he was. When I saw him this morning at Dad's office, he told me, "Call me Uncle Willie." I found that pretty funny. Plus, he gave me candy. Okay, it was kind of old and dry, but still candy. I think Dad gets along well with Uncle Willie because when he's with him, he laughs the same way he does with Father LaBelle. I had to gobble up Dr. Beaupre's horrible medicine because if I hadn't, wouldn't have made it to Christmas, or so he said. I haven't seen Martin in weeks, nor did I go to school for that matter. Dad has been praying beside my bed every morning for a while now, and at bedtime too. We went. Bleh, excuse me. Today he went hunting with Uncle Willie, and he told me to ask God to bless him in my prayers. Damn, she's got a long diary. I think this has to do with the medicine that only the richest of rich can afford. Dad told me he'll be praying for Uncle Willie until the day he dies and that I should do the same. God, Father LaBelle, and now Uncle Willie. I wonder when Dad finds the time to pray for Santa Claus. September 28th. How can Mom be so stupid? And she's getting fat, too. She cries like a newborn puppy all the time. So annoying. Came across Martin today. He seemed pretty thin, and maybe kind of dirty. He doesn't look as neat and presentable as Uncle Willie, that's for sure. Alright. Interesting. Works of art from a future artist, indeed. Indeed. Alright, so is the nursery the only room in the house that doesn't have electricity now? Maybe. I don't know. So we got a garden
Carl
here.
smiled at the sight of the nicely protected garden.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, the Bedards had managed to dig every last potato out before the sudden snowfall.
Hopefully. Alright. Alright. Very, very interesting. So...
An aging car was parked here. Carl could picture the notary's heavy sedan with a huge back seat large enough to fit the whole family.
Indeed. Well, let's see. So let's look at our journal here. Young woman. So Hamilton, Giselle, Wilfred, Roy. Jean. And so okay, so it's Jean, who was writing the weird murder fanfic. Okay. Jean-Luc is the notary. Would appear a good notary knows William Hamilton pretty well. Not surprising, the rich man must I always know the notary of his village. Well, after all, he needs him to get the law on his side when he wants to exploit the poor workers. Lucky for them, Bedard went to visit the grandmother in Lac Saint Jean. Sylvie is the unfaithful spouse of the notary, caring mother of the three. Unfortunately, she has an illegitimate child on the way. She left with her family to visit her mother-in-law in Saint Jean. It is the worst. Is it worse to face your mother-in-law while pregnant with an illegitimate child, or deal with the strange events happening here? That's a good question. Alright, so Marie, smart little girl, sharing her bedroom with her older sister, Mary Jean, or Mame Jean? Yeah, Mary Jean. Her diary shows her intelligence, nothing exciting about her stories except her adventures with her friend Martin. I'm happy that she left the region with her family. Nothing happened here can harm her. So we know, so far as we know. Mary J and Mary P. Okay. Schoolgirls, the eldest and youngest of the Bedard family. Two little girls without history from a family who reminds me of Little Women instead of Dr. March's four girls. She might one day tell the story of Notary Bedard's three girls, but it would probably be a much less exciting story. And we've got the doctor, who we don't know very much about, apparently, and the unknown woman. And, you know, too many photos. Alright. Weird. The Bedard family home was completely empty, not a living soul. They got lucky, no rushed escape for them, only an easy vacation with family in Lac Saint Jean. Danger drives people away from their hamlet. The Roys are no exception. Everyone is running, but not all of them find a way out. Cars abandoned before the road caved in. Alright. Okay. Okay, so, let's see. Close that up. I guess, I don't know. Let's see. Bedard, Roy. I guess. Well, let's see. Inventory, got pliers, got some bullets, any Polaroid, hardware. No. Consumables, equipment, documents. Giselle's diary, Sylvie's diary, Marie's diary. Diary just like Mom. Pray. Let's see. So, seem pretty thin, maybe getting kind of dirty. Bad. I'm just remembering something about Martin. Martin's dad a bit like Dad's God. The key fell in a burrow next to the shed. Poor Martin, he cried like a baby, but I still love him. I wonder, yeah, okay. So I think... because there's gotta be a... I don't know, we picked up that one small key somewhere recently. And that's gotta go to something. Right? TV is on the other side. This is correct. No, not the journal. Mary, way of true love. Where? Because it's for his dad's garden shed. Martin has always been afraid of him. Alright. And Martin is a Blay, right? So I guess we should go up to the Blay house next. And then see where that takes us. This is very much a walking simulator type game, so, or, you know, I mean, you know, it's a mystery walking simulator, so, you kind of just eventually are gonna have to go everywhere, I think. That's what I'm planning, at least. Forget about that tree sometimes. Right. Playhouse is on the other side of this here bridge. Listen to that engine purr. Okay, it's gotta be somewhere. And we're loading. I don't know if I've been checking mailboxes enough, although, you know, technically stealing mail is like a federal crime usually, or at least it is in America, but maybe not in Canada, I don't know. But there ain't no mail in there. So, alright. We're gonna pull up to the house a little bit closer, because I don't want to be all the way out here. Alright. Ooh, they got a tire swing. Very nice.
A wintry atmosphere surrounded the house. The soundlessness of the area suggested it was empty.
I mean, it sounds like wind, mostly.
When finding a boot, one wonders what became of the foot.
This is true. One does wonder that. Okay, they left the lights on.
The key, which seemed to be meant for a padlock, bore an inscription reading Cloutier et Fils. A company name.
Indeed.
Better keep an eye open. Businesses weren't exactly numerous around these parts.
Indeed. Lots of dominoes. I still don't know why I should attach a wire, but okay. Someone ran out of time packing the luggage.
The coals were still warm. Someone must have been stirring them up.
Indeed. This furniture has been moved several times. And notes from Martin Blay. My sweet Mary. Oh. No. Oh, this is from Martin. My sweet Mary, please excuse my handwriting. I am in a hurry. I have to leave for North Manistan with Mom and Mrs. Roy. As they say, it's far too dangerous around here these days. I don't know much about what's going on because Mom won't tell me anything in an attempt to reassure me. But all I know is that she has the exact same expression on her face as when I startle her. Dad and Mr. Roy aren't coming because they have gone to get Mr. Lachance. They're real heroes. My grandmother lives in a very big house in North Manistan. You would be welcome there. I must go now, quite literally. Your friend, Martin. Well, thanks, Marty. It's a pretty big bathroom, and of course the light is burned out in the biggest bathroom I've ever seen. You know, we don't like to be bored on the shitter. Article about P. Blay. Pardon. An unsolvable accident. Over the last few days, a lack of resources forced the death investigation of Pierre Blay to come to a halt. The autopsy of the body conducted over the last few weeks didn't reveal any clue that could have helped the investigators, who refused to comment on what would happen next. The new development is happening in the context of the hypothesis of an accident, which is still, in spite of skepticism, feel any clue that could help the investigation. Investigators who refused to comment on what would happen next. The new development is happening in the context of the hypothesis of an accident, which is still, in spite of skepticism expressed by the local population, the ongoing official cause of death provided by the authorities. The incident is said to have occurred in the forest surrounding Lake Atemipek. Pierre Blay was found lifeless 2 weeks ago near a footpath leading to the soon-to-be restarted copper mine. Blay, an engineer by training who was working on behalf of the consortium headed by William Hamilton, was reportedly in charge of the development plans surrounding the reopening of the mine. At first, police had disclosed that the body had been desecrated. Today, the official version is that it was partly devoured by beasts, hence the original assumption that a crime had been committed. I see. Well, that's a little grisly. but not totally unexpected. Alright. Let's see. They were playing a spirograph.
The spirograph amused Carl. It was a nice modern toy, aside from being repetitive by nature and completely useless. Still, it found its way into many Quebecois homes.
I mean, you know, define useless.
Money in a jar. What a shame. Carl would have loved cookies.
Cookies would have been nice. Cookies are better than money. But instead, we have cigarettes, so that's something, right? Nope. Sorry about that, everybody. My girlfriend just called, and so I had to do a quick talk to her and all that. Anyways, where were we? So we are at the Blaze's house. 420 Blaze It. Excuse me. And there hasn't been anything of particular interest in the kitchen. I don't think we got this far. Ooh.
A pay stub for some undoubtedly harsh lumberjack work.
Undoubtedly harsh.
Alexandre Blais felled trees and chopped woods for Cloutier et Fils.
90 hours, so is this bi-weekly? I hope this is bi-weekly. That's still too many, but alright. There's nothing in the oven. What is that noise? I just want my flashlight out. Okay, a girl. And is it you? Are the records making the noise? Is the record player making the noise? Weird buzzing noise. Here. Someone left the goddamn window open. Oh, it's the TV. Why we don't leave the window open. Someone left a hockey card.
A window left open in that weather? Perhaps something had to be watched.
Perhaps. Hockey cards.
The sheets were in such a way that indicated a rude awakening, followed by a hurried escape. What had happened here?
Indeed. What had happened? A drawing. Le monstre? There's a monster? Don't like the monster. Monstre je ne... only the tormented mind smoke in bed, which I'm sure Carl here has never done. Never smoked a cigarette in bed in his life. Louise's diary. Pardonnez-moi. Louise's diary. I fear the worst for Alexander. He hardly gets any sleep. I thought it was the work, but it seems to be far worse than that. From dusk till dawn, he stares into the void. He barely speaks to me. His son asked him to play the ball, and he didn't say a word. And that way he was to glance at the window. Last night I heard him mumble in his sleep. "He's coming," he murmured. I don't know why, but those words left it. Excuse me. Sorry, it's getting late. I don't know why, but those words left a deep impression on me. He woke up shortly after, covered in sweat. Couldn't remember his dream, obviously. He didn't go back to sleep after that, chain smoking the night away over the window. He told me to pack my things this morning. I wonder why. Does he himself know? We're waiting, but for what? I feel dread. WASD is doing nothing. Alright. Does anybody have a coat that I can steal? Anyone at all? Okay. Well, let's see. I don't like the sound of that. That's a fucking wolf? What's this shit?
The spirograph amused Carl. It was a nice modern toy, aside from being repetitive by nature and completely useless. Still, it found its way into many Quebecois homes.
Okay.
The picture had been taken inside the house. It was the same wallpaper. Judging by the smiles, nobody suspected the impending misfortunes.
The picture was from the inside.
Little
of the
Martin
house.
Blais with his Uncle Pierre. There was a deep sense of bonding and pride coming out of the picture. Carl felt sorry for the man. No one deserved such a cruel fate.
Alright. So we've got a ghost wolf that came inside, right? The bulb is burned out, which is unfortunate. None of the fucking mirrors around here work. Can we not close that door all the way? I have to say I'm not a fan of Le Monstre. Oh.
Carl's big fingers prevented him from reaching the key.
Oh. This is what I need a wire for. Merde. Alright. So I need a magnet. Magnet is what I need. Who would have a magnet? Alright, Alright. It's getting late. I've been probably playing this far too long. So I'm gonna call it quits here. Thanks for watching, if you did watch. Like, subscribe, comment, do your thing. You know, I'm gonna try to finish this out, and then hopefully by the time I get it done, they'll have released, I'm excited for the new DLC for The Long Dark. I figured this was kind of a similar vibe, but definitely, it's definitely a different game to The Long Dark. I thought this would be a fun thing to do. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish the game at some point, and then start The Long Dark. Hopefully. It's been a long time since I played that game, and I'm excited to get back into it. Anyways, yeah. Have a good day, good night, good weekend. See ya. Bye.